CTV News with Angela Mackenzie.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. In Côte-des-Neiges tonight, a memorial was held at the scene where a police officer and civilian were fatally shot on Monday. Dozens came out lighting candles and singing songs. Many laid flowers and stones per Jewish custom next to a photo of Michel Mizrahi, the bystander who was killed. The life of Mohammed Lamin Ben Redouane, the police officer killed that day, was also honored.
Felt like we had to come and give our support, and I just hope that in all this situation it'll bring peace and unity, all of us, all Montrealers, all of us together.
This was a real tragedy. This is not the Canada I know. This could have been any of us, and we just have to be here to unite and be together as one and make sure that this never happens again.
In the wake of the shooting, the RCMP are opening a national security investigation into ideological violent extremism. The RCMP says branches of its integrated national security enforcement team are working together on the case, which is separate from the murder investigation led by the SQ. The teams target terrorist groups or people who threaten national security. Meantime, protesters gathered in Montreal this afternoon at the memorial for the 1989 Polytechnique massacre to denounce incel ideology. The investigation into the shooting is ongoing and the motive is still unknown. But incel ideology was one of the many themes raised in the gunman's manifesto. The ideology involves anti-women rhetoric based on a perceived injustice some men feel from being rejected by women.
It prevents them from having people around them. It prevents them from having community, and it causes them to do senseless stuff.
Funerals were held Wednesday for both victims of Monday's shooting. Here's Matt Grillo.
Members of the Jewish community walked alongside the hearse carrying the casket of Michel Mizrahi, a civilian killed in Monday's shooting. His funeral was held Wednesday.
On the community square, all the community is very, very upset and crying and everybody's in shock.
As his casket left Paperman and Sons Funeral Home, mourners gathered, still emotional, remembering a man who many say is a hero.
He stayed and he asked other people to run away, to escape, to find refuge, and he tried to guide people to safety.
He saved 4 of my wife's very good friends. They were there having a smoothie. He pushed them back inside the smoothie place and made sure that everybody ran for cover. I just wish that he also ran for cover.
The life of Mohammed Lamin Ben Redouane was also honored Wednesday. The police officer's family held a private ceremony. There is also a tribute to him at the scene.
It was mentioned that we should all grieve for not only Michel and his soul, but also for the policeman that was killed.
Friends who attended Mizrahi's funeral recounted the agonizing moments following the shooting. They say they were left waiting for hours trying to find out if their close friend had died. They checked different hospitals because they were told Mizrahi was in surgery.
So we go to the Glen, we go to the General, we go to the Jewish General Hospital. We wait outside, there's nobody, we have to leave, get frustrated, it's like emotion on a roller coaster. It's not normal.
Through the sadness, the community has come together, supporting each other and denouncing violence.
This should not happen, not here, not in our city.
Mizrahi is remembered as a pillar in the community, someone who had a positive attitude, a big heart, and was loved by so many. Matt Grillo, CTV News.
Police have not identified the firearm used in the shooting, but it's believed to be a Russian-made SKS or a copycat weapon. Experts say the semi-automatic rifle and its many modified versions are popular among hunters. But Police se souvient says it's also been linked to a number of mass shootings.
And the sales of new SKSs, that's not taking anything away from anybody. That's just not allowing the problem to get even worse. And also it will prevent gun owners who are participating in the buyback program by surrendering their prohibited assault weapon from using taxpayer money to buy a new assault weapon.
A new study suggests buying local could provide a powerful boost to the economy. The Produits de Québec, a nonprofit, found if each household spent $25 per week on Quebec products that aren't food, it would inject $3 billion into the province's economy. It would also create or maintain 29,000 Quebec jobs. The study points to a number of categories where Quebec competes with foreign imports, including hardware store items, clothing, and medical equipment.
Look for those small icons, small houses, blue houses of Quebec products, certified Quebec products, and simply go towards them. Buying a gallon of paint before moving, if you buy a Quebec product instead of an imported paint gallon, you will be contributing to the economy of Quebec, to the jobs in Quebec, and to reducing the environmental impact of importing products into Quebec.
The study estimates the revenue this would create for the provincial government would be enough to build around 5 new elementary schools. Well, the estate of the late Leonard Cohen is condemning the use of his music at a Trump rally.
I've heard there was the secret chord.
Cohen's song Hallelujah was performed on Wednesday in Washington during a campaign-style rally hosted by U.S. President Donald Trump. On its Instagram account, Cohen's estate posted the use of the song is not authorized, and the estate does not support or approve the way it was used. Jumping on a bouncy castle can look fun, but doctors warn it's also dangerous. The Montreal Children's Hospital says these inflatable structures send about 50 kids to the ER each year. And as Sweet Arasi reports, the hospital is calling for regulations.
It's big, it's fun, and it's a staple of summer. But doctors at the MUHC say bouncy castles are also landing kids in the emergency room.
Injuries can include different types of fractures, concussions, neck, spine injuries, abrasions, lacerations, dental trauma, facial trauma.
Trauma Director Debbie Friedman says the MUHC sees about 50 kids each year. The most vulnerable groups are children aged 2 to 10. That's why when it comes to inflatable structures, the hospital says it's time for rules.
There needs to be regulations and guidance as to how are they safe to use, and if they're safe to use, how do you make them safe?
Daniel Zakarian is the director of Clota Events, an inflatables company. He agrees with the hospital.
The industry needs some sort of standardization of regulations. We're lacking.
These calls come after the death of 3-year-old Eva Ciampini several weeks ago. She was jumping in a bouncy castle when suddenly it was swept away by strong winds and thrown several feet into the air. 10 other people were injured. The coroner is investigating and could issue recommendations. They did not respond to our request for comments. But recommendations are what the Children's Hospital and Zakarian are hoping for. Sweet Arasi, CTV News.
A recent study found 1 in 5 men report having moderately severe to severe depression or anxiety, and yet many are still not open to reaching out for help. With more, here's Vanessa Wright.
10 years ago, Ahmed Jabir was a promising psychology student. He played sports, had friends, but behind the scenes, he was battling with his mental health.
When I first went to therapy, I don't think I even told anybody the first 6 months, because there was so much resistance for me wanting to even just share with people that I am struggling with it.
He says stigmas around the topic are what kept him from getting help.
And I remember there was just so much dread and resistance, oh no, I'm letting my parents down by going to therapy, and this is so shameful. I almost wanted to keep it a secret.
A recent study found 1 in 5 men report having moderately severe to severe depression or anxiety.
A very large number of young men, about 1 in 3, still see help seeking as a sign of weakness. And that worries me, right? Because if you see that as a sign of weakness, you're not likely accessing care at times when you need it.
And for those that do reach out for support, 49% disengaged from it before their needs were met.
Often what happens is distress in men gets turned into silence or anger or substance abuse, withdrawal, or even an explosive type of a crisis.
68% of young men turn to family and friends for help, compared to 54% of racialized men, meaning local initiatives work overtime to offer men a safe space.
Because a lot of our men walk with that baggage of like being hurt, being scarred, having those trust issues, those abandonment issues, and you just want to be present and give them that capacity to know that, hey, I will show up for you, but first and foremost, I have to get you to trust me.
Nowadays, Jabir works as a mental fitness speaker, encouraging others to let go of those stigmas and lean on support.
It's hard to even feel loved if we're hiding so many aspects of ourselves, if we're wearing a mask. And the more that we're able to just open up and share with people what's going on internally, it can help us feel more connected to the world and to others in so many different ways.
Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Halifax.
A fireworks show in the West Island last night ended with a blaze. The barge that was carrying fireworks for last night's display in Point Claire caught fire at around 10:30 p.m. And after the show ended, rockets kept launching into the sky. Mayor John Belvedere says nobody was on the barge, and with no danger to the public, the decision was made to let the barge burn.
Finished the show, and then the barge continued to burn. Obviously, there was nothing you could do. The fire department and the services had no access to the boat. It was in the middle of the lake, and there was no danger. So they came to the conclusion, just let it burn. And that's what they did. They let it burn until it went out, and they've towed it into shore, and they've removed it now. The way I look at it, we got an extra bonus. Got to watch a barge burn on the middle of the lake. It created a lot of attention for a while.
Coming up, what to consider when sharing your Wi-Fi with a house guest. Well, a few of the summer's most anticipated movies are out this weekend, including Supergirl. Chris Bumbray from the Joe Blow YouTube network joins us now. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Angela.
So, okay, what are your thoughts on this film, on Supergirl?
I have to say that I was mixed. I thought that Millie Alcott, who plays the title role, was very good. She definitely has some star quality. The problem is she's kind of sidelined for a large chunk of the film, which I thought was kind of crazy because it only runs about an hour, 40 minutes. And, you know, I think that audiences really are kind of in the middle of a lot of superhero fatigue. We've seen these movies done over and over and over again. Unless you have a fresh approach, I just don't think audiences are going to turn out like they once did. And to me, there's nothing in Supergirl that hasn't been done a million times before. I mean, sure, Crypto the super dog is back, and I'm sure people are happy about that, although there's some dark stuff happens with Crypto in this one that kids aren't going to like. But like I said, Millie Alcott is good as Supergirl. It's just that the movie itself feels very familiar.
Okay, so another film that's coming out is Jackass Best and Last. How do you think this one is going to do at the box office?
I don't think it's going to do as well as the others. I think that kind of the time for Jackass, I think they peaked a couple of years ago. That said, I mean, definitely the Jackass faithful are going to want to go see the movie. There are some stunts in this that are crazy, nothing that I can actually talk about on the air unless I want to get into some pretty big trouble. But hey, I like Johnny Knoxville. I like the crew. They're all fun guys. I've interviewed them before. And you know what? If you're a Jackass fan, it's absolutely worth going to see, but I definitely feel as if it's going to be the last time they do it, just because, you know, they're getting older and some of these stunts that they do, I don't know how you keep on doing that for 30 years, but anyway.
Yeah, it's got to hurt your back or give you a concussion or something.
Or worse.
So outside of movies, there is a lot going on this weekend, including Jazz Fest. Is there anything standing out to you in the lineup?
I think we have some really good free shows coming up. I mean, the big one I think that everybody's going to want to go to is Engine de Poitrine, which is happening on Saturday night. That's the kind of anonymous Quebec duo. They have gone super viral lately, and what a great opportunity to go see them free downtown. But then there are other good free shows that are happening as well. Saimonde, British funk band, is playing on Friday night. And then tonight there's Annie and the Caldwells, which is a great gospel group from New Orleans. So lots of cool free stuff to see at the Jazz Fest this weekend.
I'm sure that Angine show is going to be packed. Chris, what's happening also for comedy lovers out there?
Well, as you know, Just for Laughs is a couple weeks away, and this is kind of a little taster of Just for Laughs. Daniel Tosh of Tosh.0, the Comedy Central show, is in town for what's called his first farewell tour. Obviously, as the joke, it is not going to be his farewell tour. And Tosh, you know, he's cool. He plays viral videos. He's the first guy who kind of pioneered that format, and he's here with his stand-up show. One of the greats. He's playing at Olympia on Saturday night, and definitely worth going to check out.
And before we let you go, I know Strangers in the Night is back too.
Yes, so Flo Rida is going to be there. Maximilian, which is a band you might be familiar with if you went to the Dome in the 1990s like I did. They played all the time. One of the members of Glass Tiger. Yeah, lots going on. It's at the Plaza. It's at the mall right across the street from Fairview where Indigo Books is. So they've set up the white tents. They're ready to go.
All right, I know that's a popular one. Well, thank you very much, Chris. We're going to chat again soon.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Before you share your home Wi-Fi network with a visitor, you should know about the risks associated with being a good host. Creating a Wi-Fi guest network can address digital and privacy security. CTV's Pat Foran explains.
When guests come to your house, having access to Wi-Fi is all but expected. But sharing your password-protected network also gives them access to all of your connected devices. A little-known feature on most routers offers a quick fix.
One easy thing that folks can do to protect their Wi-Fi network is to set up a Wi-Fi guest network.
Like the one in your doctor's office or local coffee shop. It gives your guests access to the internet, but not the devices on your network.
There are 3 reasons why you'd want to set up a Wi-Fi guest network. One is to improve the privacy and security of your devices.
A friend's laptop could unknowingly be infected with malware that could spread to your devices.
By having this secondary guest network, your stuff is on the primary network and every other thing is on the secondary network. It just keeps your stuff safe because it is kept separate.
Reason number 2,
to improve the performance of your overall Wi-Fi network.
Most routers let you set bandwidth limits on a guest network to prevent them from slowing down your connection, and time limits that can automatically disconnect devices after a set time. It only takes a few minutes to set up a guest network, even if you're not tech savvy. First, log into your router's app or website and go to the settings. Look for guest network or a similar option. Activate it and give it a password and a name that's easy to identify, and it's ready to go. Which brings us to the 3rd reason.
To make it easier to give Wi-Fi access to friends and any visitors you may have.
Especially if you print out a QR code from your router's app.
Stick it on the fridge, take their phone, point it at the little QR code, and then boom, they're connected.
So you can be a good host while still protecting your digital privacy. Pat Foran, CTV News.
For the first time ever, Canada advanced to the knockout stage of the FIFA World Cup yesterday, but it came with a loss to Switzerland at Vancouver's BC Place. Here's Paul Desbaillet with the Chief Brand Officer at FC Supra.
By winning the game yesterday, what would have happened was they wouldn't have to travel. They wouldn't have to go to California. They wouldn't have to play on the 28th. They would have gotten a little extra time. They would have had home advantage. These are things that are really important when you're in a game that it's do or die.
Canada plays South Africa in Los Angeles on Sunday. Well, Montreal Victoire captain Marie-Philippe Poulin will have knee surgery next month. The hockey player fought back tears today as she explained she'll have surgery on a torn ACL and a torn meniscus in her right knee. She was injured during the Olympics in February, then aggravated that injury in March. At this point, Poulin does not know when she'll be able to skate again.
It's obviously emotional, but it's part of it. I think it's a journey of an athlete where you give your 100% every day. Things can happen, and that's part of it. And again, like Danielle said, we're gonna be. We have such a great team in Montreal. They actually allow me to play in the series where honestly sometimes you ask yourself as an athlete if you're able to, and they were by my side the whole time, and they just supported me. And to be able to do that was unbelievable. And not that I'm looking forward to it, but I am looking forward to step up in that recovery room, in that training room, to go one day at a time and come back. And yes, it is emotional. Hockey, it is my life. But it's part of it, and I'm going to go one day at a time.
Canadians right-winger Brendan Gallagher was being honored by the City of Montreal today. Gallagher was named an honorary citizen this afternoon. This comes after his 14-year career with the Habs and his confirmation that he wants to be traded to another team. Gallagher says Montreal was where he met his wife, started his family, and grew as a player.
I was just a kid from Western Canada who fell in love with the city, and in return, that city showed me nothing but love and support through my 14 seasons as a Montreal Canadian. This honor means a great deal to me. It means a lot to be able to share this moment with my wife, my family, and the people I care most about. But it also means a lot because it gives me the opportunity to say something that I may never have said enough over the years. Merci. Merci to everyone who made Montreal feel like home. Merci for your support, your kindness, and your belief in me. You have made this city one of the most important parts of my life, and I will always be grateful for that. It means more than I can put into words, and I'm sure we'll see each other again very soon. Merci beaucoup.
Gallagher has played for the Canadiens since he was drafted in 2010. When we return, Jazz Fest gets underway, and a lot of it is free.
For breaking news and local news that matters to you, download the CTV News app right now by scanning the QR code on your screen using your smartphone. Or you can also go to our website, ctvnewsmontreal.ca.
Montreal's Jazz Fest kicked off today. The 46th edition of the festival will last 10 days. It features around 150 indoor shows, as well as more than 350 free open-air shows at Place des Festivals.
And I like the food, and I like the variety of music. It's very nice. I'm from the States, so it's good to see. It's good to hear different types of music.
This is our first time in Montreal, and we're having a wonderful time. Great first day, great experience, and now we get to enjoy some music. So thank you.
I love that it's free and that it's just a community event, and like we all get to come together and just listen to music and enjoy the summer.
The Montreal International Jazz Festival runs today until July 4th.
Weather brought to you by Gratian Scaff's 50th anniversary gift event. Get a complete second pair and sunglasses as a gift.
Well, the heat is on for those of us in the greater Montreal area. We started with a warm day as well. This morning, it was a temperature of 20 degrees from Mirabel all the way over through to Sherbrooke, and we did move up from there. So our expected high was sitting at a warm 27 degrees. Our normal is now at 25, but not surprising for this time of year. We have seen warmer if we look back to 2005. That's when we hit our record high of 32.6 degrees. So we aren't expecting that warm tonight, but still a warm night, all things considered. Our low is looking like a temperature of 18 degrees. There is, of course, a catch coming along with that. We are seeing possible periods of showers along with also that thunderstorm risk. So you're going to want to keep that in mind while you are out, if you are out over the course of the evening. Also seeing that wake up temperature of 18 as well. That's going to move up by tomorrow afternoon. We have a high expected at 22, but once again with those on and off periods of showers continuing into the afternoon. Insofar as timing, we are seeing that the rain is looking the heaviest between about 2 and 3 in the morning for Greater Montreal. So the good news is most of us will be in bed at that time, but again we see these showers remaining scattered throughout southern Quebec as we move into later on Friday. Insofar as totals, we are forecasting roughly 4 millimeters on Friday. The weekend is looking much brighter though, so seeing a lot more of that mix of sun and clouds, even a mainly sunny sky on Sunday. That would be with daytime highs of 26 and 28 degrees for your weekend. So lots to enjoy there. And the good news is it looks like that continues into Monday. We have a high of 29, along with another mix of sun and clouds that you may want to take in before we see a return to some showers by the middle of next week.
Thanks, Anastasia. Well, due to live FIFA coverage tomorrow, our 5 p.m. newscast will be preempted. We appreciate your understanding and will continue to bring you the day's top stories throughout our other newscasts and on ctvnewsmontreal.ca and the CTV News app. Well, that's it for us. For the latest news, you can listen to the Andrew Carter Morning Show at 5 on CJAD 800 or head to ctvnewsmontreal.ca. Have a good night, everyone. Take care.